very good morning to one and all present for this session. Foremost, I would like to thank the God, the Almighty, for his showers of blessing to organize this course. Keynote speaker, engineer Sanjay Sharma, project engineer, Interdisciplinary Center for Cybersecurity and Cyber Defense of Critical Information, IIT Kanpur, and the founder for Cybersecurity Society. Colonel B. Venkat, Director, Short-Term Training Program, Faculty Development Cell, All India Council for Technical Education, Dr. Sehpal Singh Ji, Worthy Principal of Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Ludhiana, Patron and the Chairperson of Project Monitoring Committee of this short-term training program, Dr. Parminder Singh, Professor and Head Computer Science Engineering Department, Professor Amanpreet Singh Brad, Associate Professor, Computer Science Engineering Department, Dr. Kiran Jyoti, Head of Information Technology Department and Faculty Coordinator of this course. These are the three members of Project Monitoring Committee and Professor Sandeep Kumar Singla, Coordinator of this short-term training program. Respected Head of Departments, Deans, Faculty, Staff, and my dear participants.
If we go, अगर हम देखें तो सर ये forensics और जो CISSP जो है सर ये थोड़ा hand in hand भी तो जा सकता है ना क्योंकि we can also manage the security.
Participants, please mute yourself. So myself, Pankaj Bhamri, coordinator of this STTP, extend you all a warm welcome on the occasion of inaugural ceremony of 1 week short-term training program sponsored by AICTE. This STTP entitled Cybersecurity, Current Trends and the Future Perspective will be conducted in the online mode from 9th November to 14th of November 2020. So actually this grant for the course was initially released under the AICTE Quality Improvement Scheme to conduct the program in offline mode. But due to this pandemic period of COVID-19, this program is being conducted in online mode in two different shifts, that is from 8th November to 14th November and 21st December to 26th of December for another set of the participants. So we got overwhelming response from various parts of the country and got 450 applications for the participation from various educational institutes as well as the industries. We shortlisted 260 candidates and 100 participants had confirmed their participation and joined this course. So on behalf of our worthy principal and the management of Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Ludhiana, I extend my sincere gratitude to the AICTE for providing the financial support and all the facilities which will undoubtedly highly contribute for the success of this STTP. This course is being conducted by Department of Information Technology, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, and experts from various specializations will be delivering their lectures in various sessions. The teaching faculty constitutes software professionals from the industry and experts from IITs, NITs, and other renowned engineering institutes. So besides this course, our department is conducting 3 more courses in the next 2 months. The topic for these courses are also relevant as per today's market scenario. One course will be on AI, ML, and data science, and other will be on the virtual reality. And for details, interested participants can visit our website www.gndc.ac.in. Department of Information Technology was established in 2001, and since its inception, the department has contributed in a big way to the society by making technical manpower for various fields in India and abroad. The majority of the faculty of our department is PhD and providing new frontiers of technical knowledge to the students by imparting quality education and research. The UG course is accredited by NBA since 2014 and is keeping pace with the latest development in engineering education. Students of our department are technically sound and are innovative. They usually participate in the national as well as the international technical activities. Recently, our students team won Smart India Hackathon 2020. That is the winner in the world's largest national level hackathon program. So about the training program, about the program objectives, the respective contents and the program outcomes. So they are already shared in the form of the brochure. So I'm not availing too much time as the keynote speaker is waiting to deliver the talk. So presently, I request our principal sir to share the few words about this program. Principal sir, please.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, Professor Pankaj. On the behalf of Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, I extend warm welcome to all participants of this online FDP. I am especially thankful to our keynote speaker and guest of today, Mr. Sanjay Sharma from IIT Kanpur, who has spared his valuable time for this program. I congratulate the Department of Information Technology of Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College that they have taken this initiative on a very relevant topic. So, of course, this topic is relevant in these days and in coming days because lot of information, lot of data is being shared by so many platforms, so many organizations, so many institutions. And not only that, other security issues are always there from various quarters. And to take care about these security issues, there's need to develop relevant manpower also. So manpower in terms of faculty, students, that is always required, and it is required in this cybersecurity area in a big way. So I believe this course will help us in developing such manpower. And this AICT sponsored program is for the faculty and students from other institutions. Although less faculty members from host institute, but we are happy that we are catering to a large number of faculty members from different institutions to deliberate um, the issues on this topic. So cybersecurity current status and future perspective is the relevant and very important name of this course. I hope the deliberations during this 5-day program will definitely help the participants. participants. I wish all the best to participants and a good learning during this program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to Professor Kiran Jyoti.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind words. So now I request the head of department and the faculty coordinator of this program, Dr. Kiran Jyoti, to share his views on this program.
Principal sir, our keynote speaker, project monitoring committee, coordinators of the course. I have been asked to introduce our keynote speaker, Engineer Sanjay Sharma, working as a project engineer in Interdisciplinary Center for Cybersecurity and Cyber Defense of Critical Infrastructures at Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. He is also co-founder of Cybersecurity Society, that is an NGO in Kanpur. He has total 9 years of experience in cybersecurity domain. His research area is malware analysis. He did his master's of engineering from National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Chandigarh, in malware analysis. He has 5 publications in malware analysis and honeypot technologies. He has delivered more than 20 lectures in awareness programs, conferences, training programs, and he as a project engineer working on projects like working on malware analysis related projects. Then he is a leading honeypot project for industrial control system. He has done static and dynamic analysis for Linux and Windows platform. I welcome you, sir. in this 1 week STTP on cybersecurity. Welcome, sir.
We welcome you, Sanjay sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So,
Sir, now you can continue your talk.
yeah, sure, sir. Sure. Just, share my screen.
என்ன பண்ணுவேன் நான் இது நம்மளுக்கு இது ஒருத்த சாயங்காலம் தான் வருவேன்னா அவன் என்னன்னா காலையிலே 9 மணிக்கு இது போடுறேன்னு அது ஏதோ ஒண்ணு
My screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to share my views on the rise in cyber attacks during this pandemic situation. And basically, I'm going to discuss about how attackers are taking advantage of this tough time. So, first of all, I would like to introduce myself as a ma'am also discussed about me that I'm working as a project engineer in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at C3I Lab at Indian Institute of Technology. Basically, in March 2017, SERB DST sanctioned the establishment of the National Interdisciplinary Center for Cybersecurity and Cyber Defense of Critical Infrastructure. It is also known as a C3I Lab at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, which basically facilitates researchers to work with the pilot setup of critical infrastructures. And I'm also a co-founder of Cybersecurity Society, that is a non-government organization at Kanpur, UP. So our NGO is working with a mission of spreading awareness programs on new age technologies, crimes, frauds, and safeguard peoples. It is basically an initiative of alumni of IIITM Gwalior, BITS Pilani, and NIDTR Chandigarh to enhance online safety and security of business communities by helping to deliver resource and expertise from private sector to both domestic and international law enforcement. So basically, we are providing programs like cybersecurity for kids and parents, cybersecurity for government, private employees, for teacher and students. We also are providing a legal consultancies also. So before starting my session, I'm really thankful to Dr. Pankaj and whole Department of Information Technology, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, for inviting me as a keynote speaker in this national level training program. So this is our today's session agenda. Today, I just talk about the cybersecurity fundamentals, then what is social engineering attacks, phishing attacks, and during the COVID-19, how life around the world changed just because of some criminals. So I think there is no need to discuss about the internet. We all have basic understanding of the internet, how the internet works, origin of internet, and etc. So basically, the development of computer security has a military origin, and since 1950, it's a major concern. US government was basically a major force behind security research and technology. Then in 2007, Android-based smart devices was unveiled by the Google. Then Android is the most dominant OS in the smart devices, and estimate shows that more than 15 billion smart devices are expecting to be reaching 200 billion by the end of the year 2020. So cybersecurity is the practice of basically defending computers, servers, and mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks. It is also known as information technology security or electronic information security. The term applies in a variety of context, from business to mobile computing, and can be divided into a few common categories. So Cybersecurity is important because a government, military, corporate, financial, and medical organization collect, process, and store unprecedented amount of data on computer and other devices. So now the first question that comes in our mind is why we are talking so much about the cybersecurity and why it is needed. So as you can see in this newspaper cutting, India
Sir,
is
your
third
PPT is
most
not visible.
India is the most vulnerable country to the cyber threats. Now, there is one more interesting, or you can say that fascinating word, that is hacking. So most of the people define the term hacker and they will instantly picture a darkened room, several monitors ablaze with the green text scrolling across the screen and shady characters in the corner, furiously typing away on a keyboard in front to break or steal something. तो जब भी हमारे दिमाग में ख्याल आता है एक हैकर का, तो हमें एक डार्क रूम, एक ग्रीन स्क्रीन, इस तरीके का कुछ टर्मिनल हमें दिमाग में आता है. So basically, hacking is the act of finding the possible entry points that exist in a computer system or a computer network and finally entering into them. Hacking is usually done to gain
Sanjay sir,
unauthorized.
some participants are responding that PPT is not displayed. So are you sharing it or simply the what we are identifying on the desktop Guru Nanak, the different files are there?
Sorry, sir.
So some participants are responding that PPT is not displayed.
PPT is not displayed.
Yes, sir.
Now it's visible.
Now it is visible. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So I'm discussing about the term hacking. Hacking is the act of finding the possible entry points that exist in a computer system or a computer network and finally entering into them with the intention to compromise the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of victim. Hacking is usually done to gain unauthorized access to computer system or a computer network. Basically, hacking a word is used in two senses. Hacking term is basically used in two senses. The first one is ethical and the second one is unethical. So ethical means vulnerability assessment and penetration testing and bug bounty type events. And unethical is basically a pure crime that black hat hackers usually do. So VAPT means to make things hack proof. So कई companies होती हैं, they'll do VAPT of their organization to make them hack proof. वो attack होने से पहले अपने आप को prepare करते हैं. They take prevention steps कि कैसे अपने network को secure रखा जाए. Then there are some types of hacking like website hacking, network hacking, email hacking, password hacking, computer hacking, and today if we talk about in today's scenario, that is IoT hacking or industrial control system hacking. Now today I'm here to discuss something about the COVID-19 and cyber attack relation. On March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 is a worldwide pandemic. That week, life around the world a lot changed. Bustling streets became empty, hospital beds overflowed, and businesses were faced with possible decision of whether or not to close their doors. In some cases, for goods. An increase in cyber security is common in a time of a crisis. If my memory serves me right, in 2008, the worldwide economic crisis led to cyber attacks as company capital decreased and citizens became an easy target. Cyber criminals prey on societal vulnerabilities, and COVID-19 is no exception. Even in its early stages, we can see the effect of COVID-19 on individuals, businesses, and the entire world with these revealing 2020 cyber security statistics. So COVID-19 can already be classified as the largest ever cybersecurity threat. Cyber attacks were most prevalent in the healthcare and financial industries. Email phishing attacks were the most common source of data breaches while working from home. The World Health Organization has been rise in cyber attacks in recent months because of COVID-19. In this situation, hackers took advantage of this situation and attack on many organizations. Hackers use malicious domains to gain access to sensitive information and credential from WHO employees. Group of hackers activated some malicious sites to attack the WHO's internal email systems. Hacker also uses WHO impersonation to target others. Their motive, basically, their motive is to steal money and sensitive data from the public. So they send emails to the public and pretending to be legitimate sources such as World Health WHO. Then WHO also declares the public that they will never ask for username or password to give safety information, and also no email attachment are there forcing you to visit a link. इसी तरीके से if we talk about in India, RBI and other banks ने भी guidelines हमें deliver करी थी कि that they are never ask for username and password to give safety information. The organization also declared that they will never charge money, etc. There are many websites related to coronavirus created each day, and lots of them are malicious. So there are some current and potential COVID-19 related scam that includes some technology driven scams like phishing scam. In the phishing scam, imposters claiming to be member of reputed domestic and international health authorities like such as a US Center for Disease Control and Prevention of the World Health Organization. They target victims with email including malicious attachments, links, or they redirect user from a legitimate website to the malicious website. Then COVID-19 fraudulent websites. There has already been a significant rise in new fraud risk typologies, particularly relating to the registration of large number of COVID internet domains. These basically fake websites look like genuine websites of the organization, but carry the malware to infect the computer phone devices. Then business email compromise. The increase in remote working during the COVID-19 accompanied with the organization-wide updates regarding COVID-19 has opened the avenue for fraudsters to target a business and their employees. Using emails, cyber criminals disguised as COVID-19 updates. Cyber criminal also attempt to trick employees to hand over their credential by requesting their login to a fake company's COVID-19 portal. Once an employee has entered their credential, the fraudster can have unfettered access to the employees, organizations, business accounts, and networks. Then next is ransomware attack. I think everyone is aware about the ransomware attack because we all are from a computer science background. Government institutions and commercial organizations are seeing a new spike in ransomware attack. In this type of attack, basically the critical servers and endpoints are first compromised and then encrypted. So I'm not going to discuss about the cryptography techniques like encryption, decryption, and public-private key. Ransomware attack logs the operating system and end user files, rendering them inaccessible until some ransom is paid, usually through the bitcoins. Bitcoin is basically a cryptocurrency. So as a remote access to computer is becoming a norm for work from home due to the government imposed lockdown, self-imposed lockdowns, we expect a spike in ransomware attacks to cripple the organization's IT infrastructure to collect the ransom amount. Then there are some more mobile app scam, like cyber criminals are developing or manipulating mobile phones applications which look like legitimate applications if they track the spread of COVID-19. However, once install the application in your device, it infects it with malware, which can be used to obtain personal information, sensitive data, or bank account card details. So these are some technology-driven scams which are operated during the lockdown. Then online job scams see rise amid pandemic, with some business opening back after temporarily closing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Scammers are trying to capitalize using online job scams to steal people's personal information. Then recently a report from the somewhere I've read that Scripps Health founder hackers exploiting job seekers through phishing emails with Scripps Health themed lures. Scripps sent the following emails to warn their community members. Then the Identity Threat Resource Center has seen a rise in victims contacting the organization about online job scams, then including phishing emails. Some of the particular job scam reported to the ITRC include one from Indeed, Zip Recruiter, and Facebook. The ITRC has had more than 40 victims reach out about online job scam the last 3 months. Now, who is it targeting? So basically, people looking for work amidst the COVID-19 pandemic are basically the target of these type of cyber criminals. Now, what is it? Either a fake listing posted on a job board, or a phishing email, robocall, social media, and messages or text messages looking for a response. Then why are they after? While scammers attack in different ways, they all are looking for one thing: personal information. They hope they can trick people who are desperate or vulnerable into giving up sensitive data, like usernames and passwords, then financial data or social security numbers. Once a scammer have that information, they can commit many different forms of identity theft type crimes. Now, how can you can avoid it? So never click on a link or open an attachment from an email you are not expecting. Instead, go directly to the source to verify the validity of the message. Then review all emails and website carefully to ensure that there are no suspicious addresses, subject lines, or URLs. Now, be careful about how much personal data you share, at least during the application process. Do not turn over information like your social security numbers or your personal information like Aadhaar card detail, PAN card detail, or bank details until you are hired. Make sure you have the job and it is legitimate before giving any financial information like bank account number for direct depositing of any pay checks. Now, the number of unsecured remote desktop machine rose by more than 40% during the lockdown. So the biggest challenge for many organizations, which should not have been a challenge, is how to work with a 70 to 90% remote workforce. The technology to allow teams to work securely from home has existed for years, but there has been slow adoption due to the organizational inertia. The over reliance on network security rather than cloud based environment. This is a structural and basically not a technological challenge. So during the lockdown, many organizations having a problem related to that work from home and remote desktop machines, because cyber criminals are attacking continuously to the employees. Then 52% of legal and compliance leaders are concerned about the third party cyber risk due to the remote work since COVID-19. As you might expect, with so many new remote workers, there has been a huge surge in the number of remote desktop connection from home to work. According to the report from Channel Future Webroot study, there has been a 40% surge in machine remote desktop. The issue with unsecured companies is that as cyber criminals can use a brute force attack to gain access to a desktop machine, and once on the network with the desktop machine, badness actually happens. Now, scams increased by approximately 400% over the month of March, making COVID-19 the largest ever security threat. Then there are some more facts like data breaches by the numbers. Hackers attack every 39 seconds on an average 2,244 times a day, and data breaches exposed 4.1 billion records in the first half of the 2019. Then average cybersecurity spending per employee is around 1,178 US dollar. Then where do cyber attacks come from? 48% of malicious email attachments are office documents. Then 34% of data breaches involved internal actors. Then 64% of groups used spear phishing as the primary infection vector, and 94% of malware was delivered by means of electronic mail. Then who is affected? The USA ranks highest with the 18.2% of all the ransomware attacks. Then healthcare had the highest data breach cost around $429 per record. Then 43% of breaches involved small businesses. Then India is also becoming a vulnerable destination for these type of ransomware attacks. The average cost of a malicious inside attack rose by 15% in 2019 from last year. Then the average cost of a data breach in India has gone up to 119 million, an increase of 7.9% from 2017. Recently, Google also removed around 500 applications from their Play Store as they contain some malicious uh, content. Then these are some types of cyber crimes, but this is not a complete list, like hacking, denial of service attack, then malware attacks, software piracy, pornography, credit card fraud, net extortion, then phishing, spoofing, cyber stalking, then defamation, threatening, and salami attack. Now we'll discuss about the social engineering attack. This is a social engineering at its worst, and unfortunately, it is more likely to work in these certain times. Social engineering attacks may take many forms and methods, like phone calls from unavailable numbers, or posing as a known vendor or trusted party who ask about your name, personal details, organization detail, co-worker details. Then phishing emails that are crafted in such a way to entice you into clicking on malicious links or providing more information. Then a social network, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or for example, and other online forums and email list that may open up you up to contacts looking to friend, follow, or link with you for the purpose of building trust that can later be misused, such as using your contact information for messaging, phone calls, and emails mentioned above. So basically, in the case of a social engineering, attacker use methods like build a trust with you in order to elicit an action or divulging of information that can be used for a malicious purpose in the future, such as entry to a building or performing cyber attacks. Then 91% of attacks by sophisticated cyber criminals start through email. Only about 3% of malware tries to exploit and exclusively technical flaws. The other 97% instead target users through social engineering. 55% of all emails are spam. You can see in your email box. Then social engineering scams stole over $5 billion worldwide from 2013 to 2016. And you can see a graph here, top 10 countries affected by the targeted attacks. So you can see that we are on second position. The first one is US, and then on the second position, India is lying. Then 98% of cyber attacks basically rely on the social engineering. Social engineering also is also used for the information gathering or reconnaissance step. So, phishing, if we talk about the phishing statistics, COVID-19 and global coronavirus related attacks, in 1 week, Google blocked more than 18 million COVID-19 phishing email daily. Then in 1 week, Google blocked more than 250 million COVID related spam messages daily. 51,000 plus coronavirus themed domain have been registered between January 2020 and March 2020. 94% of coronavirus related cyber attacks in a 2 week period were phishing attacks. 57% of companies experienced social engineering attack or phishing attack. Then email scams related to COVID-19 surged 667% in March alone. It probably continued in April and beyond, but I have only March data right now. So these scams work the same as a normal phishing scams, trying to separate users from a credential. The only difference is that the email are using the pandemic to try to push a new set of psychological hot buttons. Then because of so much rushed digital transformation, people are now accepting emails and that might not look as formal or professional as before pandemic. And they click on those messages or log into those real booking sites. So more than 530,000 Zoom accounts sold on dark web. Just as there has been a rise in remote work and remote desktop, there has been an unprecedented rise in desktop video conferencing, mostly using Zoom application. While Zoom had some security issues, and we have seen the rise of a new practice called Zoom bombing. The site, there is some news from a website like Bleeping Computer Reports. It found that more than half a million Zoom credential for sale are roughly a penny a login ID. 2000% increase in malicious files with a Zoom in name. According to the Skybox security report, ransomware samples have a shot up 72% since the beginning of the pandemic. If you want even more worrisome numbers, then you can visit the Skybox report, and I have mentioned the link in this PPT, so you can visit for some more data. So the samples are not necessarily coronavirus related, but it's a huge jump in very short period of time that basically corresponds with our current troubles. That said, the Sonic Wall report indicates while it is impossible to determine a strong correlation can be found in the ransomware graph and the pattern of a COVID-19 infection. Then how phishing works. So it's a traditional method, or you can say that it's a basic method. Hacker creates a fake website, then fake website is sent to the victim, then victim enters some credential, and hackers get the credential, and after that he or she will misuse that credential. So I have created a small video which is related to the basic hacking phishing. Let me share with you all. So there is one tool which is known as there is a tool which is known as a social engineering toolkit, which is freely available on the GitHub. You can visit the GitHub and download it from there. So this social engineering toolkit is used for the phishing type of attacks. It's an open source penetration testing framework designed for social engineering attack. So I've created a one video for you all. Let me start. So I'm using my Kali Linux in a virtual environment for this practical. So the first step is to download the social engineering toolkit from the GitHub. Video is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, good. Thank you. So this is an interface of a social engineering toolkit. So these are options available like a social engineering attack, penetration testing, the third party module, then update the social engineering toolkit. So select the first one, that is social engineering attacks. Then after selecting the first option, there are some more options like spear phishing, then website attack vector, infection, infectious media generator, create a payload listener, and many more. Now, after selecting again the first option, you have 7 options like Java applet, Metasploit. So here we are doing a credential harvester attack method. So select third option. So my tool is working and it's cloning the website that is at www.google.com. Now I'm going to open my browser on incognito mode. So basically I'm doing this social engineering attack on a local host. So this is a fake page which is created by the tool. Now it's asking for the credential like email and password. It look like a actual Google page. So I'm putting my credential here. So it will redirect you on the legitimate Google page. Now go to the terminal and check the details. So here we go. We have credentials like email and password, which I have entered on the login page. So basically, it's a basic traditional method of phishing. Now we'll get back to the PPT. So phishing is basically a type of a social engineering attack often used to steal user data, including login credential and bank details like credit card details and account numbers, debit card details, and etc. So this occurs when an attacker pretends to be a trusted entity to dupe a victim into clicking a malicious link that can lead to the installation of malware, freezing of the system as a part of a ransomware attack, or revealing of sensitive information. Then phishing techniques that are commonly employed are link manipulation, and then smishing, then wishing, and the last one is a website forgery. Now we'll see one by one. Link manipulation is basically done by directing a user fraudulently to click a link to a fake website. Then this can be done through many different channels, including emails, text message, and social medias. So there are four methods like use of subdomains, then misspelled URLs, and then hidden URLs, then IDN homograph attacks. In case of IDN homograph attacks, a malicious individual misguides a user towards a link by taking advantage or similar looking characters. So whenever you are clicking any link or you are visiting any website, so please you should check the URL before visiting it, and check the subdomains mentioned in the URL and these type of homograph words or similar looking characters. Then a type of phishing attacks, that is smishing. Smishing is a form of phishing where someone tries to trick a victim into giving their private information via text message. The most common form of smishing is a text with a link that automatically downloads malware. An installed piece of malware can steal personal data such as banking credential, tracking location, or a phone numbers from a contact list to spread the virus in hopes to exponentially मल्टीप्लाई. तो इस तरीके के मैसेज आई थिंक सबको ही आते होंगे अपने फोन पे. लाइक रिसेंटली मैंने भी चेक किया था दैट एक केबीसी लॉटरी करके भी इस तरीके के एप्लीकेशन चल रहे हैं, एंड पेटीएम केवाईसी एंड मेनी मोर. So please be aware of these kind of text messages which may be a part of the phishing technique. Then there is one more type which is known as witching. Witching is basically a telephone version of a phishing or a voice scam similar to the email phishing and smishing. Wishing is designed to trick victims into sharing personal information such as personal details, then your credit card details, bank account details. Wishing call often appear to be coming from an official source such as a bank or a government organization or a loan company, then insurance company. These wishers even create a fake caller ID profiles which makes the phone number seem legitimate. Recently, wishers are even able to impersonate people through mimicking voices using artificial intelligence and trick victims into transferring money to them. तो आई थिंक सबके पास कभी ना कभी इस तरीके के फोन कॉल जरूर आए होंगे which is a part of the phishing attacks. Then there is one more type which is known as website forgery. Website forgery works by making a malicious website impersonate an authentic one so as to make the visitors give up their sensitive information such as account details, passwords, credit card numbers. Web forgery is mainly carried out in two ways: cross-site scripting attack and website spoofing. In case of the cross-site scripting, you can see on the left side image, attacker sends a script injected link to the victim, like through the email. Then victim click on that link and request a legitimate website from the server. Then a victim's browser loads a legitimate site, but also execute that malicious script which is embedded by the attacker. Then this malicious script sends a victim's private information to the attacker. Then there is one more type which is known as website spoofing. This is done by creating a fake website, as I show you in the previous video. So this is done by creating a fake website that looks similar to a legitimate website that the user intends to access. I think someone is typing. Okay. Then there are some more advanced phishing attacks. I have an example of the Emotate malware attack. So in this case, the first step is you will get a phishing email, and that contains a macro which is weaponized uh, with a malware which launches the PowerShell. In other words, you can say that basically macro is a automate in basically macro helps you to automate a frequently used task by creating and running them. A macro is a series of commands and instructions that you group together as a single command to accomplish a task automatically. So as soon as a user open the email and click on that macro, PowerShell directly downloads the emotate from the server. Then this emotate repeatedly spawns and injects into other processes, establishing persistence via scheduled task registry keys and shortcuts in the startup folder. After that, emotate also grabs and deploy additional payloads, often trick bots and many more malwares like worm, then Trojan, maybe possible several malwares. Then trickbot will disable your antivirus services. Then it harvest your data. Then yes, it's also steal your credentials. It harvests credential, contact names, email addresses from your Outlook. Then it spreads via SMB brute force attempts. Then trickbot also hijack email accounts to send phishing emails to other contacts. Then it may be also possible that it also drops an additional payload, that is a Ryuk. Ryuk is basically a ransomware which lock your operating system or encrypt your files which is present on the computer. Then to unlock them or decrypt them, attacker always ask for the ransom amount which is in cryptocurrency. Then if I talk about the prevention methods, how to spot phishing, then always check for the mismatched and misleading information. Pay attention to the domains, subdomains, misspelling and similar looking characters in URLs. To check for hidden URLs, hover your mouse cursor over a suspicious links to see the actual URL. Then use of urgent or threatening languages. If there is a threatening language or urgent language is present in the email or SMS, please be aware. Some phrases like urgent action required or your account will be terminated, as phishers often aim to instill panic and fear, trick you into providing credential information. Then promises of attractive rewards, false offers of amazing deals or unbelievable prices are commonly used to instill a sense of urgency to provide your credential information. Then request for confidential information. Most legitimate organizations would never ask for your personal information, like banks and other organizations, as login credential, credit card details, and banking details. Unexpected emails. If you receive an email regarding a purchase you did not make, do not open the attachment and links. Then suspicious attachments, exercise caution and look out for suspicious attachments, names and file types. Be extra worry about the exe files and delete them immediately if they appear unexpectedly in your inbox. Then there are some more methods for yourself or for your business from failing victim of COVID-19 scams. scams like be aware of fraudulent emails claiming to be from the experts from have vital information regarding the virus. Do not click or open attachments from unknown or unverified senders, and check email addresses from source claiming to have information regarding COVID-19 for irregularities such as spelling errors or miscellaneous symbols. Even cyber criminals often use addresses that only have a marginal difference to those belonging to the entities they are impersonating. And be careful of fake online shops which use non-traditional payment methods such as money orders, fund transfer, gift cards, or cryptocurrency. Don't use any payment shortcuts given by a representative. Log into the official website to make any payment. Then check the background before donating to any charities or crowdfunding campaigns. Be wary of any business, charity, or individual soliciting donation in cash through the email, via fund transfer, or other unusual channels. Stay informed. Always stay informed of investment scams and trends in relation to COVID-19. For example, if I tell you one example, like schemes offering discounts on product like online content streaming, then companies who claim to have a drugs curing COVID-19, then ensure that you buy drugs from unauthorized chemist or known sellers only. Even in such cases, it is imperative that you check product details, including labels, packing, ingredients, date of manufacture, expiry, and location of manufacturer. Then avoid sharing pictures of a home desk workstation on social media, as you may share confidential information with the cyber criminals. Always be mindful of what you are sharing on the social media. If is it possible, install a phishing filters. While it won't keep out all phishing messages, it will reduce the number of times. Then beware of pop-up windows. Legitimate organization do not ask for personal information via pop-up screens. Then there are some more preventive technology controls like protect and control remote access to critical IT infrastructures, then restrict access on user IDs, revoke all direct connects on your server and from outside office premises, monitor servers and network performance, and set alerts. Then limit and log the use of applications which give remote access, enforced passwords, resets, and build two-factor authentication on critical IT assets. Then ensure the anti-malware, anti-ransomware, and anti-virus software installed on a device is up to date. Operating system patches are always updated. So try to update your operating system, your antivirus, your anti-malware time to time. Avoid installation of a freeware on IT systems, as they may have hidden malware trojans. So avoid downloading free softwares which are available on the random websites. Then connect to the internet using a secure Wi-Fi, hotspots, and broadband connections. It is highly recommended to connect to the internet using a virtual private network if possible. Then avoid using public file sharing websites unless authorized by your organization's policy. So these are some precautionary measures which you can take to prevent from this kind of phishing attacks. So it's all about the social engineering and phishing attacks which are driven in the which are operated in the COVID-19 phase. So these are some my contact details. If you have any query, or if you need any kind of information related to the phishing or malware analysis, you can ask to me, or you can contact to me. So if you have any question, you can ask. Now, if you have any question, you can ask. There are some questions on the chat box. Do we have any data set available for cyber crimes during COVID-19? If yes, then please share. Currently, I don't have any this type of a data set related to the COVID-19. I have some malware samples which are used in the COVID-19 for the malicious activity. So you can contact to me. I will give you some malware data set which I have. Then there are some more questions to have. Do you have any data set available for any data set for our crimes? How to start cyber security for personal. So how to start cyber security for personal computer, or how can we start our career in cyber security? So if you want to start your career in cyber security, so I recommend you please first complete your fundamental subjects like operating system, then computer networks, and data structure, because in cyber security these are fundamental blocks. So if you want to if you want to work for as a network security engineer, or a malware analyst, or in the VAPT domain, you must have the in-depth knowledge of operating system like Windows, Linux operating system, and you also have a knowledge about the like a computer networks. So to start your career in cybersecurity domain, first complete your subjects like operating system, basically Windows and Linux. Then uh, complete your subject like a computer network. Then there are some certification available like CEH and OSCP. Then go for this certification. And there are several domain in cyber security also, like VAPT for Android, VAPT for Windows, VAPT for Linux operating system, then malware analysis, then security operations center, and many more. So first you have to decide in which domain you are interested. Like you want to become a malware analyst, or you want to become a VAPT guy, or you want to go for the network security engineer. It's up to you, and prepare yourself accordingly. Any more questions? So actually, I'm not a good speaker. I'm just a security researcher at IIT Kanpur. So please forgive me for any kind of grammar mistakes and communication. I'm not a good speaker. I'm just a security researcher here. Earlier days in lockdown, Zoom has lots of security issues, and government also insisting not to use Zoom app. Now, what precautionary measure steps they have taken? So, if I talk about the Zoom, basically they have updated their application a lot. So you can use, actually government is basically taking some security measures related to the Zoom, that don't use in your company or organization, in government organization. So you have many alternate option like Google Meet and Cisco WebEx, so you can use that also. Any more questions?
Participants, if you have any question, you can ask.
if you have a data set related problem, you can email me. I have a data set related to the COVID-19 malware. So I will give you that data set. So don't worry about the data set. I have a malware data set and I have a benign data set. So don't worry about that. Directly you can contact me for the data set.
Participant, you can unmute yourself if you have any query. You can unmute yourself and can ask any query if you have.
So tell me hacking. Is it safe to be a full-time bug hunter? Yeah, no problem. It's safe. No problem with the bug hunting.
There is one basic question. So tell me basic concept of hacking.
Actually, hacking is if I talk about the hacking, there are many steps. Like the first step is information gathering and reconnaissance. Then there is a second step. Second step is a scanning of the network or a target. Then third one is actually that in that step you will attack the victim. The next step is exfiltration of the data. Then you will cover your track and try to delete your fingerprints. So in this way, there are, I think, 5 to 6 steps for the hacking. So I recommend you that start from the basics, like how to gather information of the target system. So there are many methods to gather information of the target, like social engineering is also a part of that information gathering. Then how to do reconnaissance, then how to scan the network. There are many tools like Nmap, Wireshark, which is used for the information gathering and scanning of the network. Then next step is where you actually attack the target system. Then you will going to cover your tracks and you will delete the logs which are present on that victim machine. Then you will uninstall the tools which you have installed on the target machine. So these are the some basic hacking steps. What are the phishing filters, sir? How can we installed? How can we installed it? So there are many plugins available in the browser. You just Google phishing about the phishing filters, and you will get a long list related to the phishing filters. I'm using one application that is Ghostry. So it will helps me a lot in blocking the pop-up windows and advertisements which are displayed on the websites. So I'm writing the name of that tool. So the name is Ghostly, which can remove third-party ads. Even I will share the link of that plugin also. Let me share my screen. So I'm using this plugin, Ghostly, and it helps me a lot in blocking third-party ads and pop-up windows which are displayed on different websites. So you can use this plugin also. Even while streaming on YouTube, you will get different type of advertisement during the video and in the starting of that video. So this application even block those advertisement in YouTube also. So you can use this plugin Ghostry. I will copy this URL in the chat box. Okay. So I think, sir, there is no more questions.
Okay,
I
sir.
have shared my details. If they have any question, they can ask me directly via phone or email. Any source for starting and learn ethical hacking? Yeah, you can ping me directly. I'll tell you the source and content which I have related to the ethical hacking.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Dr. Sanjay Sharma. So now at the time for the formal vote of thanks. Keynote speaker for the session, Dr. Sanjay Sharma, worthy principal, Dr. Saipal Singh, and chairman of Project Monitoring Committee, Dr. Parminder Singh, professor and head of the department CSE, Professor A.S. Broad, CSE, the associate professor, CSE department, Dr. Kiran Jyoti, head of the department Information Technology, all the three members of Project Monitoring Committee, Dr. Pankaj Bhambi, the coordinator as well as the secretary of the Project Monitoring Committee, myself, heads, deans, and faculty members, and dear participants. Myself, Sandeep Kumar Singla, coordinator of this course, feels immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks for this inaugural day of the STTP. I'm very thankful to Dr. Saipal Singh, Principal, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Ludhiana, to provide us nice and informative, these facilities for the laboratory facilities to organize this course, and his kind motivation to run this course effectively. I'm thankful to the AICTE for providing us the financial support to organize this STTP. I'm also thankful to our HOD, Dr. Kiran Jyoti, and head of the department, to provide us the facilities and the motivations and all the framework to run this course very effectively. I extend my sincere gratitude towards Dr. Pankaj Bhambi, the coordinator of this course, who is working very hard to run this course effectively. I'm also thankful to Mr. Amandeep Singh, lab superintendent of our department, Information Technology, whose hard work to run this course, we cannot forget this. He is doing very hard work at the back end of this course. And at the last, I'm very thankful to the participants who are who have joined this course, and I hope that they will learn the things like the cyber security and the malware attacks, that they'll expose these things in these 6 days, and they can learn these things to effectively use these concepts in their research work or in their projects. So, to conclude, let me once again reiterate my gratitude to each and one who is contributing in this course, in this STTP. So thanks to all the members, and I again thanks to Dr. Sanjay Sharma for such a nice and informative session on cyber security. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks all the participants. So please, participants, we'll have a group photograph. Please switch on your videos so that we'll have a video photograph. And I request our keynote session of the day also to be there for just another 5 minutes. Please, sir. And I request all the participants to switch on your videos to have a group photograph.
हाँ कर रहे हो, रिव्यू कर रहे हैं, स्क्रीनशॉट लो सर, प्रिंट स्क्रीन कर लो।
Thank you, one and all. Thanks, sir,
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
for
you.
your time, for valuable time.
Thank you.
So participants will join at 11:15. So participants, there is announcement for you. The attendance will be taken by the Zoom server itself. Okay. So there is no attendance during the sessions. It will be taken during the sessions by the Zoom server itself, and will share feedback with you, feedback form with you, and you have to fill that. So feedback form will be shared after the end of each session. You have to fill that form. At the end of each session, we are sharing a form and we'll share you a link and you have to fill that form. Thank you.
trigger Good morning to all of you.
Yes, good morning, sir. Good morning, please, sir.
Morning, sir.
Dear members, Sanjay Sharma sir has already been over, or it's yet to be
Yes, yes. The session has been over.
over. Sorry for I'm still late. Sorry.
What is the session is supposed to start at 11:15. Sir, have you logged in by the Dr. Adinesh Mukherjee?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Actually, your details are not shown as in our list. No. Okay. Now it is displayed. Thank you.
Sir, we've given you the rights to share the screen. You can share the screen.
Yep. Can you see my screen?
It is.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for 5 minutes, another participant to join.
Sure.
Good morning, participants. So welcome for the second session of the day for our STTP on cybersecurity, current trends and future perspective. So for this session, we are having with us Dr. Animesh Mukherjee, Associate Professor, the Department of CSE from IIT Kharagpur. So now I invite Professor Hanif from Department of Information Technology, to formally introduce our expert for this session. Hanif ma'am, please.
Good morning all. For the speaker of the day, Dr. Animesh Mukherjee. He is Associate Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. His main research interests are in applying complex system approaches, mainly complex networks and agent-based simulations to different problems in computer science, including human language evolution and change, web social media, information retrieval, and natural language processing. He regularly publishes in top journals and conferences like ACM and IEEE. He serves on the program committee of various top conferences like IGCAI, EMNLT, and other high-impact journals like PNAS and SCI reports. He is the Technical Program Committee Chair of IEEE and ACM CompsNet 2018 and the Workshop Chair of ACM Compute 2017. He also has a prolific collaboration record with collaborators from different parts of the world, both from academia and industry. His work has received media attention from various agencies, including MIT Tech Review, BBC, Guardian, and many others. His topic for today's session is Rise of Hate Content in Social Media. Now, I would like to request Sir to kindly share his expertise on the topic. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thanks for inviting me to this session on cybersecurity. So I'm not sure whether this work directly corresponds to the main theme of the workshop. However, this has a lot of parallels with cyber crimes and web crimes that have been reported of late. So I would try to motivate from the perspective of cybercrime, etc., a little bit, so that it becomes thematically more aligned with the theme of the workshop. Okay, so without any further ado, so this is a summary of some of our research that we have been doing for the last 3 to 4 years here. So before I delve into the presentation, so there is a small disclaimer that I would like to make at the very beginning. So this presentation you might see at some point in time would contain offensive and hateful words. However, this cannot be avoided because of the nature of the work itself. And we have tried to suitably obfuscate things wherever appropriate. but even then, if there is some miss on our part, please forgive us. Okay, so I guess social media does not need any introduction to anyone. These days, it has become the de facto standard for sharing any form of information on the web. So it's not only about sharing information, but also gathering information is one of the primary is one of the primary ways in which you gather information these days is through the news items shared on social media. So hardly people look into newspapers. They rather look into their social media feeds, and whatever news pops up on those feeds, they go through them, and that's how their daily news quota uh, is fulfilled. So now this has resulted in a lot of positive consequences. Like social media, as we know, has been used for many positive purposes, like for instance from starting from simple sharing of information to more complex situations like disaster management, reaching out to people during disaster through social media, reaching out like real life relief materials to people during disaster. Then there has been, social media has also been able to unfold newer friendships, newer collaborations across borders. Uh, while like everything has a positive side, equally true is the negative side. So along with all the good things that social media has brought, there are a few bad things also that we find very prevalent over social media these days. So some of these are like increased polarization. I guess many of you have already observed it. I mean, surrounding different topics, like it could be topics of national importance, like the general election, or like passing of some bills, etc., to like even more sensitive matters like um, uh, religion, ethnic race, and things like that. And similarly, there have been an increase in the amount of abuse and hate speech, which we will see a little bit more in details in today's talk, which has, inflicted the social media. Actually, like there is a very nice report in the Harvard Business Review that was published in 26 by Umar, where he states that social media initially was thought of to be a e-town square, like a place where people can come together and discuss their problems, their day-to-day matters, also share information with other, share different important and valuable conversations with each other. From that town square kind of a picture, social media is slowly over time portraying a picture like a mosh pit, where people have made it a platform for micro abusing. So people abuse each other, people express hatred among between hatred toward other communities on the social media platform very easily. And the problems are actually manifolded because of certain important factors which one needs to be very careful about. So once you have an abusive or hateful post on social media, it has a much longer repercussion. So it's like if you fight with somebody like outside your house, you fight in the morning and you forget in the evening. By fight, I mean fighting verbally. However, if there is such a fight over social media, like this actually has a much more, continual effect. So many more people get to see or get to find about your fight. It exists there for social media for a very long time, and actually the same thing gets reinstantiated. The same fight gets reinstantiated multiple times. So without uh, much of reconciliation. So all these are in some way some of the strong negative consequences of social media in recent times. So and this is not only restricted now in the online world. Some of these have very uh, like strong offline consequences. Some of the examples noted here will ring the bell, like the Bulandshahr violence, the Pittsburgh shooting, the Rohingya genocide. So these are all examples of cases where social media has been like hold responsible to be a propeller of some of these offline events, real life events. So for instance, I guess most of you are aware of the Rohingya genocide and the Bulandshahr violence, which have been happening in the neighboring countries. And the Pittsburgh shooting is also very well known. Like, I'll talk a little bit more about the Pittsburgh in details, and that will give us like more examples of how the online world is actually intervening with our offline world. So, and it's these kind of negative consequences are all pervasive. Like, they are not restricted to one single platform. They are restricted to multiple platforms. Like it could be Twitter, it could be WhatsApp. So this is an example from Indian WhatsApp groups. So this is a specific derogatory message against a minority religious group in the Indian WhatsApp public group discussions. And similarly, so this is the example that I was trying to point out related to the Pittsburgh shooting case. So if some of you have been following this, if some of you have been following this particular event, you might have noticed in the newspapers that the primary accused in this particular event was Robert Bowers. Now this guy actually made his last post on a social media platform called Gab, where he writes something like this: HIAS likes to bring invaders in that kill our people. I can't sit by and watch my people get slaughtered. Screw your optics, I'm going on. So this is the last post that he made on a social media platform, Gab, before he goes on and does the shooting. Okay, so if we were moderating these kind of platforms and the social media posts, and we're following people like Robert Bowers, who are very active in such social media platforms, then we might have even been able to prevent the catastrophe. So I will talk in today's lecture, I will talk a little bit more about this special social media platform, which many of you might not be aware of. This is a recently growing social media platform that actually hosts a lot of hate speech and abusive speech in itself. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next few slides. So in today's talk, I'll be summarizing two of our works. One is about spread of hate speech. This was published in ACM website. And the second one is about how to counter hate speech, or how to contain the effect of hate speech in online platforms. So these are the two works that I'll be primarily covering today. However, we have been doing many other works, and if you're interested, you can visit our website and you will get more information about them. Like we have been studying the temporal dynamics of hate speech in social media, detection of hate speech in multiple languages, then misogyny or crime against women, or hatred against women. So all these works are already available in the public domain, and you can visit our website to have a look into them if you're interested for them. So this work is carried out by three PhD students, Bini Matthew, Punojoy Shaha, and Mithun Das, and one of my collaborator, Professor Pawan Goel, who is also from the same department as I am. So so the first work is about spread of hate speech in online social media. So I have been talking about this for some time now. So basically what we will try to do in this work is to, look how hate speech would spread in a social network if it is unmoderated, if it is left unmoderated, if there is no moderation, if there is no check on the hate speech being spread on that platform, how fast does it spread? Does it really spread, or does it die off? Okay, so this is one question which bothered us, and we tried to look into this and have an empirical answer for this. And this was published in ACM website, and it also received the best paper honorable mention. So as I said, I'll be talking about this platform gab.com. Gab actually promotes itself as a champion of free speech. However, it has been criticized as an echo chamber of alt-right users. So these are like far rightist people mostly. It is in nature, it is very similar to Twitter. It allows you to post content, it allows you to share others content, it allows you to follow others, it allows you to like others posts, etc. However, here the moderation is much less strict than platforms like Twitter and Facebook. So in Twitter and Facebook, there is a strict hate speech or abusive speech moderation policy. Like if you post abusive content on Twitter, very likely that in the next 24 hours, your content is going to be deleted. Not only that, it could be even that your account would get suspended. However, Gab is like relatively more relaxed. It kind of says that it promotes free speech, but in the disguise of that, it actually promotes post of hateful content without any fear of repercussion, because like there is no repercussion as to like deletion of posts or deletion of the account itself. So people freely keep on posting hateful content on Gab. And we wanted to look. Yes, there is a question. Is there a question? Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, should I continue, or is there a question? Okay. Okay. So in order to do this study, what we did is we crawled a massive data set of 21 million posts and around 343,000 users using the standard Gab API. So this has information about the basic details of the user, like the username, all the posts of the user, the followers and the followings of the user. Okay, so all these data have been crawled using the Gab API to run our analysis. So primarily, we do the following things. we create a seed set of hateful users, okay, each say doing roughly 10 plus hate posts. We create a repost network of the users and a corresponding belief network. We initialize the seed set of users with the score of 1 and the rest with 0. Then we run a diffusion model on the belief network to update the beliefs of the users, and users who have a belief score of something between 0.75 and 1. So the belief score runs between 0 and 1. And if the user has a very high belief score, then we call the user to be hateful. And if the user has a low belief score, that is from 0 to 0.25, we call this user as a non-hateful user. So the number of users after this exercise that we got as hateful are around 2,300, and the number of users who are non-hateful are around 58,000, roughly 59,000. The rest we actually do not comment because they are somewhere in the middle of the spectrum, and it's very difficult to infer their inclinations, whether they are hateful or non-hateful. So we do not comment about the rest of the users. However, so this slide actually summarizes the things that I'll be discussing in the next few slides. So these slides look too much crammed with too much of information, with too many information. So we will slowly look into the steps one by one now. So the first thing is to construct the seed set of hateful users. So what we did was we built a lexicon of 45 very high precision keywords, which are actually indicative of hate. Now these includes various racial slurs like the ones that I have cited here as examples. Okay, so these are some of the examples of racial slurs again against a target community. Sexual orientation like the LGBT community, or which could be like something related to the body shape, etc. So what we do is that we find out users who have 10 plus posts with one or more of these high precision keywords. Okay, so on Gab, since things are unmoderated, so if you find a user who is posting like say 10 plus posts with one of these hate keywords, you are kind of pretty sure that this guy is like a hateful user and is frequently posting hateful messages. So this is a first initial seed set that we built for a set of users. Now we construct something called a repost network. So how do we do it? So let us say we have a social network like the following. It's a simple graph with 3 nodes. Okay, so the node A, you read it like this: the node A actually posts 17 messages. Node C posts 10 messages and reposts 5 of the messages that comes from A. Okay, node B reposts 3 of the messages that comes from C, 9 of the messages that comes from A, and does not post anything by himself or herself. This is how you construct the repost network. Okay, from the repost network you construct something called a belief network. Now how do you do this? So look at the node C. So out of the total 15 post plus repost that the node C makes, it makes 10 posts by itself. So that is 10 by 15. So we call the belief of C to be 10 by 15. Belief of C on itself to be 10 by 15, which is 0.67 roughly. And we call the belief of C on A as 5 by 15, which is 0.33. And you see the direction of the edges have got reversed. So now this shows that C's belief on A is 0.33. Earlier it showed that C reposted 5 of the posts made by A. Now the direction of the edge has changed, and we say that C has a belief of 0.33 on A and a belief of 0.67 on itself. Similarly, B has a belief of 0.25 on C and a belief of 0.75 on A and no belief and a belief of 0 on itself. So now we run a belief propagation or a diffusion model, a simple, very simple diffusion model. How does it work? So let us say that A is one of the nodes who is in the seed set, who is in our seed set. So we know that A is a hateful person because A has made more than 10 posts which has one or more of those seed hateful keywords. So we start from A. Now every time point we calculate the belief of the other nodes. So the belief of C in the next time point, that is I plus 1, is expressed as 0.33 into the belief of A, okay, plus 0.67 into the belief of C. So now C's belief score at this point is 0. A's belief score at this point is 1 because it's a hateful user. So now after this step, C's belief score becomes 0.33 into 1 because it was A's belief score plus 0.67 into 0. So after the first step, C's belief score becomes 0.33. So in this way, you can keep computing the belief scores of each and every individual node over iterations. After a point in time, you will see that the belief score of the nodes do not change. So they get fixed at some number. So this is called the convergence point. Okay. So at convergence, all those nodes which have a belief score of 0.75 to 1 are denoted as hateful users, whereas those which have a belief score of 0 to 0.25 are denoted as non-hateful users. So this was the thing that I was summarizing in the very first slide. So now, once we have got the set of hateful and non-hateful users, so so we have, as I said, we have 2,300 roughly hateful users and around 59,000 non-hateful users. Now, once we have got them, we have to somehow check that our method that we worked. So note that it is a completely unsupervised method. So the method that we like executed is actually good for any further analysis. So what we do is that whatever hateful users and whatever non-hateful users we get, we randomly sample some 100 users from them. And we ask 2 of the annotators who are experts in judging, like who have been working in hate speech analysis for quite some time and who are experts in judging whether some user is hateful or not. We ask them to check whatever we have detected as hateful and non-hateful users and tell us like whether the model has been able to predict correctly or not. So with the annotator 1, the agreement of our model is 86.9%, and with annotator 2, it's 93.2% for the hateful users. And for the non-hateful users, it's even higher, 92.2 and 99.4. And the agreement between the 2 users, which is measured by the Cohen's kappa, is also like above 0.7 for both of the sets. So we have some reliability on the algorithm that produced the hateful and the non-hateful users. From this annotation, from this manual annotation, we at least have some reliability. So in order to further establish the reliability, what we did was we tried to see like what are the different topics in which the hateful users post and what are the different topics in which the non-hateful users post. So in Gab, just like in Twitter, you have various topics and you can make your post public under different topics. Okay, you can tag your posts with different topics. And what we see that the posts that are made by the hateful users detected by our system, those posts actually have tags like Jews are the synagogue of Satan, the black race sucks, etc., which are clearly indicative, the name themselves are clearly indicative of being hateful. Okay, whereas the hateful users post in more general topics, which do not typically have a hateful alliance. Next, we also see what are the typical URLs or web links that are shared by the hateful and the non-hateful users. What we see is that many of the hateful users actually post links which correspond to various rightist channels, like this could be news channels, radio channels, and things like that. Whereas for the non-hateful users, this is not the case. So these three set of analysis, the manual annotation, the hateful topics, the domains shared, all these together point to the fact that our detection method of hateful and non-hateful users is pretty reliable, and we can proceed with further analysis. So what further analysis did we do? So as I told you in the beginning, we wanted to find out how hate speech would spread in a network where there is no moderation or very loose moderation, okay, where there is no one to stop it. So this is typically measured in a social network setting using something called a cascade. Okay, so a cascade is a path traced by a post as it is reposted by the users. Okay, so however, as we will see in the next few slides, that it is impossible to trace the exact influence path. So what we will do is we will first leverage the social connection between the users, and we will use a special heuristic called the LRIF, least recent influencer model, to infer the cascade path. So let's see how we do it. So again, let us imagine that this is a small snapshot of the GAD social network. So you have 5 nodes here, and each link now is a follower followee link. Okay, so this node C here actually follows node A and follows node B. Okay, similarly, node D here follows node B and follows node E. So these are follower followee links. Now, the numbers that you see here are timestamps at which a particular user has made a post. Let's say A has made a post at time 0. B has made a post at time 100. D had made a post at 500, E at 400, and C at 300. Now suppose we want to find out the influencer of C. So we want to find out who is the influencer of C. Is it A or is it B? Okay, because you see that C follows both B and A. So therefore, the message could come from either A or it could come from B. Now, how do I know from whom did C receive the message? It is following both of them. So in order to disambiguate this, what we do is we take the heuristic, which is called the least recent influencer. That is the person, among the set of people whom C is following, the person who has posted the message earliest, we call that person to be the influencer of C. So in this, that's why the least recent. So in this case, A will be the influencer of C. However, you could also think of another heuristic where you say that B is the influencer of C, not A. So that type of heuristic is called the most recent influencer model. Both these models are very similar in spirit and the results do not change much. Okay. So using this heuristic, now we know that who exactly C is influenced by, who exactly B is influenced by, who exactly D is influenced by, and who exactly E is influenced by. And therefore, from that graph, now we land up into a graph structure, which is a which in computer sciences is also known as the DAG, or the directed acyclic graph. So there is no cycle in this graph. Okay. So now we build this kind of DAGs. So these DAGs are also called the cascades that we were talking about. Okay. So now we build such cascades or DAGs for the hateful users that we have found, the 2,300 hateful users, as well as the non-hateful users, the 60,000 non-hateful users. Okay. So now you can measure various properties of this cascade, and these properties actually tell you that how deeply the messages have spread in the network. Okay, so what are the different measures that you can take? So you can measure the size, which is the number of unique users, okay, in this cascade. That is the number of nodes in the DAG. Depth, that is the length of the largest path in the DAG. Average depth, that is average of all the path lengths from the root. Okay. Breadth, which is the maximum number of nodes at a particular level in the DAG. And the structural virality, which is basically the average of the shortest distance between any pair of nodes in the DAG. So these are some of the standard cascade properties that you can mention, that you can measure in order to identify the extent of spread of a hateful content. So we measured the cascade properties for both the hateful and the non-hateful users using their original posts, using those posts which have attachments like video files or images, and using posts which they belong to some specific topics. As I say, that the topics have a very strong connection with the hatefulness of a post. Okay. So once we do this analysis, what we see is that all the different features, the size, the depth, the breadth, the average depth, the structural virality, all of this, for all of this, the hateful users, although they are much smaller in number, their value is much larger than the non-hateful users. And all these differences are significant. And the significance test was done by the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. So the observation from here is that posts of hateful users, which typically tend to be hateful, that is what is our assumption, have a larger audience. They spread wider, they spread deeper into the network and are more viral. So basically, you see that if hate speech is not, controlled or contained or moderated, then it is going to spread to a much larger audience, to spread wider, deeper into the network, and probably that would typically result in much stronger ill consequences. So similar results are observed when we look into posts with attachments, as I said, posts which have video or audio or image. Okay, so only thing is that the differences have now got more pronounced. Okay, and similar is the case for the topics. Only the differences. So when you consider the posts only, whatever the difference was, this difference only gets more and more pronounced when you consider posts with attachments or posts under different topics. So far, so good. Now, the question is, so we have seen that if things are not moderated well, then it is very likely that hate speech is going to spread very fast in the network, and that might have like many unpleasant consequences. So the question therefore is like, what could be a good way or good technique of moderation? Can we have some plausible mechanisms of moderation? So this is what we will see in this next work. So there could be, so some of the potential ways that you can think of is something that I have already talked about in the very beginning of the presentation. So you could block or suspend the hateful message, or you could suspend the account of the user. Okay. In fact, several governments, like including the government of India, have established very stringent hate speech laws to prevent its spread. Okay. So then there are several social media sites who have also taken strict action against hate speech. In fact, Facebook has a campaign against hate speech, specific geared campaign to combat hate speech. However, all these types of moderation has a caveat, and the caveat is that it might lead to the violation of free speech. So people might accuse social media platforms or the government by telling that, okay, by stopping me to post hateful messages, you are actually curbing my freedom of speech. So these kind of allegations are frequent and normal. So then how do we go about for a more successful moderation technique? So for this, one of the best alternatives that was proposed in the recent literature was countering the hateful messages. So you try to answer the hateful message or the hate speech with more speech. However, this more speech that you produce is actually trying to alleviate the ill consequences or the bad consequences of the hate speech. So such speech is also called the counter speech. And this is actually an emerging and a promising option and has been backed by several organizations, including Facebook. So this brings me to the second work that we published in ICWSM 2019, where we tried to study counter speech in the online world. So while the last social media platform that we discussed about was Gap, this one is about YouTube. So here we try to study counter speech in the context of hateful YouTube videos. Okay. So we define counter speech as a direct response or a comment that counters the hateful or the harmful speech. And we take three target communities: the Jews, the African American or the Blacks, and the LGBT. And we collect user comments to create a data set and then study counter speech. So what do we do basically? So we scraped comments, the YouTube comments. So if you go to a YouTube link, you will see that following the video, there are certain meta attributes like the number of views, the number of likes, and the comments posted against that video. Okay, so we scraped the comments from 31 hateful videos. Two of the examples are shown here, okay, on YouTube. And then we tried to study counter speech. So there are different types of counter speech. So here I have noted the 8 types that are most prevalent in the literature. The first one is presenting facts. That is, you try to, many of the times hate speech is related to misinformation or false information. So you try to present the correct or the true facts in order to rectify the false information, which naturally takes care of the hate speech also. Now then, pointing out to hypocrisy or contradictions. So sometimes the hateful messages are very contradictory, and you can point out these contradictions and show that the hateful message that has been posted is therefore baseless. You can also provide online and offline consequences like legal consequences in order to ameliorate the effect of hate speech. Also, you can talk about affiliation. So what this particular category does is very interesting. So here, say there is a hateful message against a religious minority. Now, and say this has been made by another religion, made by a person from another religion. So so a different person from that religion comes up and tells that, okay, whatever is being said is not correct, and uh, mm, I belong to the religion that my fellow that my fellow member is also a part of, but I do not believe in the hateful comment that he has posted against the religious minority. So this is, you are affiliating yourself to some religion, and then after affiliating yourself, you are supporting a religious minority. So for instance, you are affiliating yourself to be a Christian, and then you are telling that, okay, I am also a Christian, but this message that has been posted by a hateful message that has been posted by a another Christian fellow member against a Jew is not correct. So this is what is meant by affiliation. Then denouncing of hateful messages. So this is a direct denouncement. Then humor or sarcasm. So you try to be sarcastic about the hateful message, or you use positive tone. And the last one, which is not a very welcome thing, that is like you use more hateful messages, okay, in order to fight the already posted hateful message. So this is not a very welcome type of counter speech. However, we see in real life that this is also very prevalent. This type of hostile message against hostile message is also very prevalent. And so although it is difficult to foresee like whether this really serves any good purpose, rather than unfolding a offline violence, it remains to see how hostile language actually works. But my perception is that the other 7 types should be much more effective than the hostile language. This is my personal perception. So again, in order to do this analysis, you have to do a data collection. So what we do is that we use the YouTube comment scraper to scrape comments from 31 videos. And then we first annotate these comments into either it is counter speech or non-counter speech. Okay, we roughly have similar amount of data. And the agreement between the annotators, so again, this was annotated by 2 different annotators, and the agreement between the annotators was pretty high. So now in the second step, that is the annotation level 2, what we do is we categorize the counter speech comments, that is around 7,000 counter speech comments that we got. We categorize them into the 8 different groups that I talked about just now. And here again, there were 2 annotators, and the agreement between them is 0.87 on a scale of 0 to 1. So the first thing, when we look at the data distribution, now you take this 7,000 posts, okay, 6,000 or 7,000 posts, and you try to do a postmortem of the data. What you see is that, so the most interesting observation is that hostile language is the most prevalent way of doing counter speech. So that is what it appears to be. Although like this is something debatable whether one should subscribe to more hostile language to actually fight hate speech. However, in our data set, at least we see this is what is going on. However, if we discount this part for a while, we see some other interesting things. So for every different target community, different types of counter speech seem to be more effective. Say, for instance, for the LGBT community, what you see is that pointing out hypocrisy and using humor or sarcastic remarks are the best ways of combating hate speech. Okay. Whereas for the Blacks community, it is the legal consequences, like making one aware of the legal consequences of such hateful messages, is the most, it seems to be the most effective way of countering hateful speech. I mean, if we discount the hostile one. So now, after this, we studied, as I said, there are some meta features. We studied some of the meta features, like the average number of likes. So for the African American community, what we see is that the offline and online consequences, that is the legal consequences and the denouncing of hate, these are the two categories of counter speech which are mostly accepted or mostly liked by the users. Okay, so some of the examples are noted on the right hand side of the slides. Okay, so you see the hateful message and then the counter speech corresponding to it. Okay, so what we observe is that most of the counter speakers actually make the hateful speakers aware of the legal consequences and criticize their way of viewing a race in their counter speech remarks. So for the Jewish community, what we see is that the affiliation type of messages are the most liked ones. So I have already told you that what affiliation means. So it's like you affiliate yourself to some other religion and then you tell that whatever hateful message has been posted against a particular minority religion is not correct. Okay, so this is the type. So in general, for the religious minorities, so while for the race minorities, it's typically like online, offline consequences or denouncing of hate are the prevalent methods of counter speech. For the religious minority, it is typically the affiliation that is the predominant way of counter speech. And as I said, for the LGBT community, it's mostly the contradictions and humor or sarcasm. So some of the examples are given on the right hand side are the major ways of countering hateful speakers. So once we got this data set, we tried to do a very simple machine learning task. What was the task? The task was that given a piece of post or a piece of comment, can I say with some confidence whether this is a counter speech or a non-counter speech? Now, you might ask or wonder, why should someone be interested in such kind of an analysis or in such kind of a prediction? So the reason is simple. So as you understand, all this counter speech has been generated through crowdsourcing. Like people have watched the video and then they have painstakingly looked into the comments and then responded to the hateful speech in the comments. However, this work is completely voluntary. And since the hate speech volume is only increasing in the social world, in the online social world, it becomes important for us to think about mechanisms in which computers are able to generate counter speech. So basically, you want to have natural language processing systems or natural language generators to generate counter speech, okay, automatically. So suppose there is a software robot which is actually trained to generate counter speech. Given a hateful speech, this robot is tasked to generate counter speech. Now, this is not a very easy task because the no robot cannot, generate XYZ counter speech. So this has to be relevant to the context. So suppose if there is a hateful speech against the minority community Black, you cannot post a counter speech which is relevant to a religious minority community Jews. Okay, so this is absolutely meaningless. So in order to train such robots, we need large amount of data. And in order to get this large amount of data, counter speech data, it is very difficult to obtain this manually. So if we could have a classifier, which a standard machine learning classifier, which given a post can tell us with some confidence whether this post is hate speech or not, that becomes a easy way to gather the counter speech, okay, even without any crowd involvement, so or human involvement. So we tried to do this task and we achieved an F1 score of 0.71, which is not so bad in classifying something which is counter speech from something that is non-counter speech. Not only that, we also tried to do the multi-level classification, that is, um, mm, which class of counter speech this particular um, comment belongs to, like one of the 8 classes that you have seen. Actually, we did not consider the hostile class because, as we said, as I already said, we do not subscribe the hostile class to be one of the mechanisms of counter speech. So we took the other 7 classes and we tried to classify a comment into one of these 7 classes. And there also we do reasonably well. Like it's not as good as the binary classification. However, we on a 7-class classifier, we do reasonably well. However, there are scopes of improvement, and like one can do even better with certain additional inputs, and we are presently trying to find out those clues which can make things even better. And we are also looking into this problem of generating hate speech using the recent developments in the transformer architecture. I guess some of you who are aware of the deep learning developments will be aware of the transformer architecture. So we are trying to use some of these transformer architectures to develop such software robots to generate counter speech automatically. So, so this is a place, if you on the online world, where we dump all our findings. So this website has our own papers, different surveys, various data sets related to hate speech, and the different um, things that are going on around hate speech over the world, forecast through a Twitter handle like this here. So I welcome you to visit this website if you are interested, and you can also drop us a mail. So all our contacts are present on that website. So you can also drop us a mail if you are further interested. So I'll stop here and take questions. Thank you very much. Yeah, so there has been a few questions already. So one question is, what do the weights of the DAG indicate? So that the ages, so I guess you mean the age weights. So the age weights mean that how much belief do I have on, it's the belief, and if it is the repost network, it's the number of posts and reposts on the mm, um, post and repost network. However, if you're asking about the cascade, so in the cascade there are no weights. Okay, in the cascade you just have weights on the nodes, which means the time of posting. Okay, so the second question was, ignoring or not responding to hate speech can also be a response, sir. Yeah, that's true. But what we have observed is that repeated exposure to hate speech actually increases the outgroup prejudice of a particular group. So there are a lot of, so for instance, like as I talked about the Rohingya genocide and etc. So it's very difficult to ignore such cases because they are now uh, have offline consequences, and whenever, so as long as things are in the online world, it's still fine. However, the moment they actually transcend to the offline world, they become more problematic. So they could cause riots, etc. So many of these events were so strong that they sometimes actually translated into um, offline riots. Not only that, even in the online world, I guess many of you are aware of the depression, etc., that the online world brings. it has been found out that one of the primary reasons that many American children actually are like inflicted with depression is because of repeated exposure to hate and abusive messages that their friends and close group communities post against them. So this is like a repeated mockery that they experience for a very, very long time. And many of these have actually resulted in suicides. So there, I did not have like, slides or time to discuss about these. However, many of these, if you look into the news reports from starting from 2016 onwards till now, you will find many, many such cases where there has been suicides or suicidal attempts due to repeated exposure to hate speech and abusive or offensive messages on the online platform. Yeah, any other questions?
Is there any question from the participants? Please, you can unmute your mics and you can ask, sir, for your queries.
Or you can also write on the chat box.
Yeah, you can even write on the chat box.
So if there are no questions, it can mean two things. One is that the presentation was very boring and you lost somewhere in the midway. Or the second is that the presentation was extremely explanatory and no further explanations are required. So which take-home message should I take back with me?
So we would like to raise our hands for option 2 in this case. It was really
Okay.
great and explanatory. It was a self-explanatory presentation, and we must say that.
People are asking for the resource materials. I guess the organizers are already recording it. So I would request the organizers to share the video link with the participants. And in case you need the slides, just drop in a mail. I will be happy to share my slides with you.
Sure, so we will publish those by the end of the day. So assuming there are no more further queries, I would like to thank Sir that it was such a great experience to learn about the concept of hateful and not hateful users, what do they post, how it's cascaded, that is tracing their influence path and their consequences. Apart from this, we also got knowledge about counter speech comments in YouTube links and their concepts. It was a great teaching experience and learning experience. Thank you so much for your valuable thoughts, sir. Now, it is
Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to inform the participants that it is a break and we will resume back for the next session at 2 p.m. I request all the participants to join 5 minutes prior to the session for a smooth run. Thank you so much. अच्छा मैं end up कर दी